We started out by doing like 2.5 hour episodes with little ones and families and jobs getting very busy. We've been
cutting it down.
A little bit shorter and sweeter.
It was kidless at the beginning.
Yeah. When we had an abundance of free time.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It's to go back to those days, even just for a week would be
the productivity that everything you'd get done. Not in a bad way. Like, you know, like we love our kids, but at the same time, you're like, what was I doing with my time?
I was blowing it off. I was not using my time well enough. That's for sure.
Yeah. Now I'm so efficient with my time. I'm like, I have 10 minutes. I can, it's like that. What is it? Parkinson's law or whatever. Is that what it is?
I don't know if I'm familiar with that.
Yeah.
So basically it's like, if you have a task, and you get it, like, it's like you can get it done in an hour or like 6 hours. Like if you give yourself all day to do the task, it'll take you all day. If you give yourself 10 minutes, it'll take 10 minutes.
Right.
So I feel like that now is huge because I have a little one. It's like,
yes,
I only have 10 minutes to do it. I got to get something, at least a piece of it done. Like that'll so much quicker.
I get it. We've got a Roomba at home. And so, you know, I've been watching over that quite a bit. We have a dog now, so I don't have any kids yet. So we have a dog. So, you know, there's that. Yeah. I totally get it now. All of it. Right? You guys totally agree, right?
I don't know. I hear dogs are just as hard as kids.
Nah,
I don't have a dog.
Moose, we have 2 of each.
Oh gosh.
Moose is very chill. He doesn't require anything.
Yeah, Moose is a great dog.
We just recently got our first, my wife and I just got our first together dog kind of thing. So neither of us had any pets. But we just got Moose, and he was, my wife's allergic to dogs. And so he is a golden doodle. Ooh. And he is 6 years old, and rehoming kind of situation. His previous owners, we call them their exes. His exes, they're wonderful people, but they're retired, and they have like grandkids, I should say, in different states, and so they're just traveling a lot. And so they were like, hey, to our friend, it's actually our friend's parents' neighbors. So where she grew up, it's their like family neighbors, and they were like, yeah, do you know anybody who would like want a golden doodle? And she was like, she texted my wife. And my wife was like, husband, what? And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, he's a purebred, right? It's 2 different dogs together, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah. Purebred golden doodle. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, like, of course. What are you talking? Like, and so, but you know, we're still a little hesitant. Like, people aren't handing out like $4,000 dogs for free. I was about to say,
they can be very expensive.
Very expensive, especially like the combo that he is. And so it's like, 1, the combo that he is, but 2, like, you know, nobody's giving away, like, you don't see a lot of like, hey, this is the perfect dog. We just don't want him anymore. Right. When people have like, you know, I always think like, the first dog they had together, Stanley, is like, he set the bar for me on like what a dog should be, because Stanley is just so much fun. He's cuddly. He's energetic when you want him to be. He's lazy when you want him to be. Yep. Just a wonderful dog. And we were roommates for a really long time. So I got all the benefits of having a dog with 0 drawbacks of having a dog. Yep. And so I just rode that high for a long time. And then I was like, I just don't know. Like, and then this kind of situation happened, and we talked to the family, and we were like, we'd love just to make sure my wife's okay and doesn't get, you know, really bad allergies. We'd love to take him for a week. By the car ride home back here, because they're in Wichita, by the time we got back here, we're like, you would have to kill us to take this dog back. So, yeah. But he is literally, it's one of the biggest blessings, especially recently, of just like, he is, we've had him for a number of months now, and it's like, when's the other shoe gonna drop? And it's just like, nope, he just like is so cool. He's granted, he's 6 years old. He's well trained, but he's like never had an accident, never drank out of the toilet, never. I could literally make a plate of food and set it on the floor and walk away for 3 hours and come back, and he'd just be like, I've been watching over it. Like, did you need anything else? And it doesn't chew anything up. Like, just literally is so chill all the time, but that's like awesome. Super fun, wants to play all that. And see, now I'm rambling. Can't be talking about moose.
I was going to tell, by the way, does it just like start?
Where are you going?
I'm like,
that's right.
I didn't know when we started, what happened there. Right. Anyway, I had the same kind of situation where my cousin, we were roommates. She lived with me, and she had a dog. Well, she still has her dog, Shadow, and he just a mutt, like perfect dog. And I used to take him for walks every single day. Like, and again, I had all the benefits of having a dog, but none of the drawbacks of like, if he needed to go to the vet and there was a bill or like whatever, you know, like, and I love dogs. We actually want to get a Great Dane.
Yeah.
I used to have a Great Dane. But I've always had a family dog, right? So it's never like 100% been my responsibility, never been my financial responsibility. I know dogs can be expensive. So it was always one of those things that's like, I'm going to do it one day. And then I was like, when I get pregnant, I'm going to get a puppy. And that way, when the baby comes, they can grow up together, but I'll have time to train it. It was like all these things, but
that sounds stressful.
Yeah. And then I was like, you know what? Realistically, this is not a good idea. Right. So we're still kind of in, you know, my daughter's 7 months old now, and we're still kind of in that like, not quite time to get a dog yet.
Because, I can only imagine now. Yeah.
I'm sure things will start to get a little bit easier. And I think between like 1 and 2 is I think where we definitely really like got to the point. It's like, okay, like we're like,
I'm in my groove.
Yeah, we're in the groove. Yep. Like we've got time to ourselves at night. Like she's sleeping well. So my dad, I think it was a month before I was born, came home with a puppy, I think without telling my mom.
Oh, gosh. Love that. Tim.
Was a fantastic dog. He trained the dog himself. It was a German short hairs, and it was a hunting dog. It was quote unquote an outside dog because that's, you know, what like my family like grew up like dogs are for outside kind of deal. But especially like hunting dogs. But my dad built this like, one, it had the whole backyard. It had a pen in the back, and then it had a cutout little dog door into the garage. So it had like a little like, it's like bed and everything inside the garage with like AC and a heater and everything like that. So like outside dog. But yeah, I got to grow up with that dog as a kid, but my mom was not happy.
They're a huge responsibility for sure.
Well, that was a big thing for us because we're in an apartment downtown that literally like we've got really like we have tall ceilings, and so we have these massive windows that do not open. And I kept telling my wife, I'm like, because she kept like, come on, let's get a dog, and I'm like, absolutely not. Like you've lost, because I'm in my head, I'm like, we need a hypoallergenic dog, like because you know you don't go to the, you know,
are you guys like up?
Yeah, 3rd floor. Yeah,
and so no elevator probably.
We do have an elevator, luckily, because it's a 6-story building, so we do have an elevator. But it's still like, you know, this dog's gonna have to go out at 2:00 in the morning every night, and I don't want my wife walking around downtown Oklahoma City at 2:00 in the morning, take the dog out, like all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, and you know, you don't go to the rescue and find like hypoallergenic, purebred, you know, whatever. Like that just doesn't really happen. And so it's the funny thing is she almost didn't even ask me. She was almost just like, no, Thomas isn't going to be into it. And I'm like, I'm so happy you did, because I was on board right away. I'm like, are you kidding me? A free golden doodle? Like
sign me up.
We're going to take opportunities that present themselves that just make sense. And so, but yeah, I literally like, he has been our ideal dog. He's the coolest. We take him all over the place. He loves riding in the car. He has goggles he wears when he rides in the car. Like
that's amazing.
We dress him up. We do all the stupid fun stuff. So
great dog parents.
Tell you what, he grew up like his whole life, 6 years, never being allowed on furniture. And now he like, first night he's like in bed with us, like sleeps in bed. And now he's like,
yeah, these are my people.
He's like, yeah, this is pretty good. My wife sent me a TikTok the other day where it's like first dog to like a married couple without kids. Oh, yeah. And it's like he's like slowly putting the dog's head back onto a pillow as he like gets out of bed. And I'm like, that's smooth. Like he's as spoiled as it comes now.
Dude, I definitely used to be that way with our dogs. Like I would like I would sleep in like different, like I would sleep at the end of the bed, like move my pillow and like sleep at the end of the bed so I wouldn't disturb Stanley and Stella. Now, when I am like, I've got a maximum of about 2 hours that I can get, I lift the blanket up and I roll it over.
2 hours of sleep?
Sometimes.
I would not be okay.
Yeah.
I need my sleep.
Yeah, I don't know if I am. That's not every night is 2 hours of sleep, but there's some nights that they get pretty thin. So,
being a business owner and a dad of 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's got to deal with me.
That's true. Honestly, you take up most of my time.
I was going to say, sometimes he's got to roll me over with the blanket to get me out of the way.
A blanket hog. You mentioned Parkinson's loss. So I've heard of that. I didn't know the name for it, but
I'm pretty sure that's the name. I know it starts with a P. I hope that that's the right name, but
we'll fact check it.
Yeah.
We'll edit in somebody else's voice in on. Yeah, we were totally right the whole time. Big believer in that. I think I always have been, but especially with kids. And I think that was the thing. It's like, okay, like I had all this free time before I had kids, but I didn't have that like sense of urgency of it's been, it's been, 6 hours. Since I've like fully gotten my like day started and I haven't done anything. And now I have this 30-minute window where Riley is sleeping, Ashton is sleeping, nothing else needs to be taken care of. And so I've got 30 minutes to essentially complete like a whole day's work, or I'm going to be staying up extra late tonight. And it is crazy how productive I get. And it's like, I try to look at it as a positive thing of like, okay, I've got a lot less time now, but it's pushed me to be extremely productive with the small amount of time that I get sometimes.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I feel that 100%. It's just kind of like when I get her put down for naps, or like I actually have been lucky because, she's my first baby. And so I hear lots of moms be like, oh, I just wish I would have like held my child. I was so worried about like doing this and that. I wish I would have just, there's only little so long. I would have just sat down and held them. And so I have been the kind of mom that's like, I will nap trap myself all day long. Cause number one, she sleeps better and longer. But then I just get to have my laptop and get work done. So like, that's like a uninterrupted 2-hour span where I get simultaneously to cuddle my daughter and get a whole bunch of work done. So
you're doing a lot of work with her sleeping on you.
Yes. Yeah. But then, lately I've been also making sure we got good sleep habits and whatever. So she has also been sleeping in her crib a lot. And even then it's just kind of like, I've always got this checklist in the back of my mind. Like whenever I get a moment, this is the next thing that needs to get done. Right. And it's, it's been interesting because I think I used to be very scatterbrained, and it's almost made me focus more because I don't have the time to like be like, should I do this or that? Like there's these memes, and I totally get it, where it's like moms, when their baby goes down, they're like, should I shower or should I eat or should I, whatever, like they can't decide what to do. And I've always had this like list in the background of like, I need to do X, Y, Z. And sometimes those things are taken care of myself. Like I need to eat lunch, but I also need to get these like 2 needle moving like tasks done in this time period. And I always like hammer it out. And it's been a change, but I'm loving motherhood. So
you just got to do what Kevin does. Just eat in the shower.
Yeah. You see these things too, where they're like in the shower.
I do frequently.
They're like eating, they're drinking, they're like doing whatever in the shower. I'm like, yes, just do it all at the same time.
I know you well enough to know that is probably a common occurrence that you're eating in the shower.
As soon as you said that, I was like, I don't think you ever witnessed me do that, but I was like,
that you know of.
It's true. We did used to be roommates. But yeah, no, that was a really good guess.
Yeah. Right.
No, I do the exact same thing. There's a number of pictures with, especially Ashton now, where I've got her in like one of those little like rounded pillows and like holding her, and I'm working like with one hand. And I agree. I get extra focused. One, obviously, because there's a limited amount of time, but 2, because I can't get up and do anything.
Right.
It's like, okay, so like I'm stuck here with my phone and my laptop, and all I can do is this particular work. So I get a lot of that done.
Yeah.
And it's nice too. It's like you get a little cuddle buddy while you're working.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like a hitting 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah.
I started talking about moose, and I got us way off track of introducing
That's all right.
Yeah.
I feel like those are some of those fun episodes where it's like we get like halfway through and we're like, oh, by the way.
Yeah, here we are.
Kelsey Byars, right?
Yes.
It is, we know you as the Spice Girl.
Yes.
You are a registered dietitian and owner of the Spice Girl Kitchen. Tell us about the Spice Girl Kitchen.
Yeah. So, kind of elevator speech, I guess. The Spice Girl Kitchen is a spice line of salt and sugar-free, culturally inspired spice blends. So I actually kind of have two legs of the company. I've got my product line, which is the spice blend line. And then I also have my food blog, which I do want to tell you guys about because I think you guys would be interested in it. And how I've monetized it. And it's been a very fun journey for me and a big piece of like my overall goals in life in general. So it's kind of, they feed into each other because I originally kind of I started with the product line and then, but you know, I have some unique stuff like Thai, Moroccan, East African, you know, and so for the average American cook, they're probably not going to really know what to do with these. So I was like, well, obviously we need recipes, right? So I was like, well, let me generate some recipes. So that way, when they buy the spice, they've got some, you know, ideas on how to use it. That's kind of how it started. And then I discovered that you can actually make a lot of money food blogging. So it's kind of a long story of how I discovered this slowly over time, but read a lot of things online about just like people making 15,000, you know, and multiple thousands of dollars a month just on ad revenue on their food blog. So they're giving away these recipes for free, but it's kind of like owning a billboard. Like, and so let's say, you know, on the Las Vegas Strip or in LA, they've got the famous billboards, and obviously those are going to be way more expensive than in the middle of nowhere, Texas, where there's a random billboard to advertise, right? So it's kind of like the more that you build the blog, you have more traffic going by that billboard. And so then the people who are advertising like Walmart, Coca-Cola, whatever, they're willing to pay more for that ad space on your food blog. So there's a whole strategy behind like keyword strategy and SEO and whatever. And the more that you build up your traffic, the more valuable that your blog becomes. And it's kind of this thing that feeds itself where it's kind of like you get more traffic, that traffic makes you more valuable. And so then you get paid more per thousand. So like, for example, I might have started and I might have been getting paid like $15 per thousand visitors. But then, so that might have been at like 10,000 visitors. But now if I'm at 75,000 visitors, I am getting paid more like $50 per thousand. And so it kind of is a way to snowball itself.
Yeah, perpetually gets bigger and bigger.
Correct. And then it also changes seasonally. Like obviously Q4 ad revenue goes up, and stuff like that. Like Q1, it's lower, just the way that the whole thing works. But that's been a really fun journey, and kind of going back to how that fits into the spices. Like I started with being like, I just want to give people ideas on how to use these spice blends, and then I was like, well, if I'm going to, again, do this work, right, of putting together this recipe, taking pictures of it, how can I then monetize it on my end? And I found out this whole strategy and you get connected with ad companies actually. So you start off with like Google AdSense. That's kind of how you get started. And then there's bigger companies that you can get into. And actually this past year, you actually have to get invited, which is kind of interesting to, a company called Mediavine, and I got invited in September. And so it's kind of crazy because I went into this beta program. I hope that this is all making sense, but like I went into this beta program for Mediavine. Basically Mediavine, I was with Google AdSense. Mediavine then opened up a beta program for smaller creators because you can only get into Mediavine if you've got a minimum of 50,000 visitors per month. Yeah. So you have to really basically work with Google AdSense and be making basically nothing, like pennies. And really working hard to try to build to 50K before you can even apply to then be actually making good money with Mediavine. Then they came out with something called Journey by Mediavine. It's a beta program, and you have to have 10,000 visitors per month. And so I got in with beta, or journey, whatever you want to call it. And they actually saw my blog growing through that because now I was hooked up to the Mediavine analytics. And whenever I hit like 35,000, they were seeing it steadily grow and they invited me to join Mediavine. So I was like so excited. This happened literally in September. So we're in January now, only like 4 months ago.
Wow.
And I was just like, man, I'm playing with the big dogs now.
Yeah.
So, and it's just kind of crazy too, because like on my website, whenever you're with like Google AdSense, the ads on your website are crazy. It was like, people are coming to my website to try to find a recipe and it'd be like an ad for like pest control and it'd be like a dead rat like right before the recipe. And I'm like, this is so, it'd be like a toe fungus, like whatever, like cream. And it'd be like this weird, I'm like, because they were like pennies, like ad spend.
Yeah.
I was like, this is disgusting.
Yeah.
And now I've got like Walmart and Coca-Cola like plastered all over my website. I'm like, yeah.
Makes
like,
it look legit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like so excited about it. So, now I've got QR codes on my spices on the lid. So I've actually got like, for example, a Cajun spice.
My favorite one.
Yeah,
I love the
definitely.
Cajun one.
Mine too. I'm biased because
I
I
use
grew
it
up in
all
New
the
Orleans.
time. Yeah.
Well, you have to check out my
I
recipes.
will, yeah.
Because I've got like shrimp etouffee, pastelaya. You're going to love pastelaya.
Let's go.
Yeah. But I've got QR codes now on the lid. So with all my retailers, whenever someone finds me in a store, they can scan that QR code and the Cajun one will go to the Cajun page.
Nice.
And like Moroccan will go to the Moroccan page. So like they get free recipes. It's an extra value for the customer who has that spice. But then, I make a little revenue on that too.
Also brings viewers to the website.
Correct.
That's funny. It sounds like the recipes were initially implemented to be able to help the spices.
Right.
But now it's kind of going vice versa.
Exactly.
Like the spice sales are kind of driving some traffic to the website. It sounds like so.
Yeah. Well, also it's working in the reverse too. So now like last month I had 75,000 visitors. It's driven up my online sales because people are looking for a pastelaya recipe.
Right.
They're just typing in pastelaya on Google. My recipe is one of the first to pop up, and then they discover my Cajun spice and then they'll go make. So it's been, it's feeding both ways,
That's awesome.
which is really cool. And then it gives me social media content.
Right.
I'm making recipes and it's not just like, I'm just doing this for specific marketing. I'm monetizing my marketing in a way is what the
You're
whole
not
thing is.
solely focused on promoting the spices.
Right.
It's like if this is just recipe just stands on its own, it still, brings in revenue. It's still a big part of the business. It's probably, you can implement your spices and advertising your spices a little bit more genuinely.
Well, I feel like it streamlines a little bit of everything for you too, where it's just like, hey, this one thing I'm doing right now is going to feed all three mouths that I'm trying to produce here.
Exactly. Literally, I film, I do all the research for the blog because there's keywords, whatever, to figure out what kind of recipe I'm going to do, generate the recipe, write the blog post. I film the video, post it on TikTok, post it on YouTube. The YouTube video gets embedded into the blog post. So like, again, you can discover me on YouTube and it all kind of interlinks. That's also Pinterest content. Like you can use the pictures and the video to go across all platforms. And just kind of feed this.
And you
beast.
just had to make one thing.
Right, exactly.
Right. You made one recipe. You didn't have to make a recipe for social media and this for a blog and this for that. It's kind of like, I'm just going to do one thing and all three of these things are going to go for it.
Exactly. I was so not motivated to like make videos because it's such a whole thing. Like I can't just sit in front of a screen and just have an idea and talk. Like I had to plan it and grocery shop for it. And like, it's a whole process. Like, and I don't mind doing it, but it was just kind of like, what's the ROI on this? If you get like 5 likes on something, you know? So now at least it's kind of an evergreen thing. The different things I listen to talks about each blog post being an asset because unlike social media where it can kind of disappear in 24 hours, these are things that live on Google. And
as soon as someone's looking for this, it can pop back up really easily.
And the slow cooker, it's seasonal. So like slow cooker recipes will go up but I might make this one slow cooker this year and it'll pop up every year again when it gets cold outside, get more traffic. So it's been a really fun experiment. I've been really enjoying it. Yeah.
It sounds like it all works really, really well together. What would you say is a bigger part of your business now? The blog and the recipes or the spices?
as far as like, not as far as revenue.
Okay.
As far as revenue, spices are still higher at the moment, but the blog, like I said, I just got into Mediavine like 4 months ago and it's already like tripled. So I'm excited to see where I'm going to be at, especially like at the end of Q4 next year, because I do think that the recipes will become bigger.
A lot of potential.
There's endless potential. I think the difference too with the recipe leg or the blog leg of the spice company is the overhead is so low, right?
Yeah.
All I'm doing is making dinner for my family. And so all I'm doing is paying, for a website, which I had to have anyway.
Right.
And food, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes
You're still gonna eat 'em.
I still have to cook. So we're still going to eat it all.
Just a little extra time to film it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
That's so, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I was at a grocery store the other day and I saw some like prepackaged, like already spiced, like raw meat that had your spices on it.
Yep. Yeah.
That's super cool. Yeah. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I know this.
Yeah. So this was a fun thing that I started. Actually, I really want to grow this side of the business too. I just got my first account and then I got pregnant and I just kind of was like, you know what? I'm going to pull back a little bit. But yeah, so I have all my spices in my hexagon signature glass jars. But with a manufacturer, I have the ability to do bulk spices. So just like you go to Sam's and they've got those like long, skinny plastic containers, I can package that for specifically the purpose of like back of the house, right? So Crest was my first and only account right now that buys my spice in bulk, and they use it to pre-season their like chicken, so that you can buy Cajun chicken.
Yeah, that's stuff where you go and it's just like, oh, it's already got.
At the meat counter.
You just throw it on, so you can throw it on the grill or throw it whatever.
Super cool.
And and it was like, and then it has her logo on it.
I bet that like guarantees that it's like the spices being consumed. It's like, because I know that's been a big thing for us with getting into wholesale with our products. It's like, okay, it's one thing to like get our foot in the door and our products on the shelves, but we actually need people to like buy and take these so that this account reorders. So
exactly. And especially like with, what you guys have and what I have, especially with the spice, man, sometimes depending on what you buy, how often are you really using a Moroccan seasoning, right? Like it might take you 6 months to a year to finish it because the spices technically never expire.
Right.
They have a 2-year shelf life. So it's not like, I do a lot of farmers markets. And so you think about like the bread people, right? They're going to have customers every single week because their bread is either going to go bad or they're going to finish it, right? They're going to need bread every week.
Right.
They don't necessarily need the same unless they're going to buy a different spice, but I'll have repeat customers, but like the length of time before they come back versus Crest where they're using it every day. They go through it like for sure.
Bread would, where it is nice, you having so many repeat customers, I would be forever stressed about inventory expiring within weeks though.
Yeah, exactly. Pros and cons for sure. The vegetable people, I'm like, man, the moment you put that out of the ground, that's not even good till next week. Like it's crazy.
You better sell it now.
Yeah, exactly.
The one that blew my mind is I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day. I was up at the gym and ran into him, and he has recently started a dry ice distribution company. And he's like, and I'm like, I can't even imagine like, like storing that. And he goes, oh, there isn't a way to store it. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like,
it's always evaporating.
He's like, what do you put it in? It's a negative 140 degree, whatever it is. I think it's a negative 140. He's like, they don't make fridges that go that cold. Like, he's like, if you were to put it in the freezer's 140 degrees warmer than this. It's just heating it up. He goes, you just put it in essentially like fancy Yeti coolers, but he's like, still doesn't matter. He's like, you'll lose. He's like, I'm probably making up numbers now, but he's like, I have to buy, 50,000 pounds of it. And he's like, in, a week, it'll be 30,000 pounds. That just evaporates into the air. And I'm like, I'm going to throw up. What are you talking about? And he's like, it's $1,000 a pound.
Nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, 1,000 pounds is, $1,000. And I'm like, or whatever the numbers were, but I'm just that is terrifying. Like, someone forgets to snap the cooler shut completely, and it's like you come back and imagine if like we forgot to, you closed the lid completely on a protein tub and you came back the next morning and it evaporated.
Yeah.
I was like, that is the most stressful thing I've ever heard in my life.
There's so many different businesses that I'm just like, I'm glad you're doing that.
But kind of the same thing though that you're kind of talking about with the bread though is he's like, people got to come back.
Yeah,
he's like, because I can't keep it for long. That means they can't keep it for long either. It's like, you know, if you
everybody's got the same,
and same rules. It's just one of those things where you're just like, I just don't even think about how often dry ice gets used and things. And he's like, oh yeah, you got people all over buying 1,000 pounds like regularly. And I'm like, what in the world are you talking about?
Having customers is cool too.
Yeah.
So, your inventory just literally evaporates. It's so stressful.
That is extremely stressful.
Yeah.
I have really funny thoughts now every once in a while, since you seeing kind of this, our, back inside of our business and watching it grow. Like I remember one time I was in a gym, this is a few years ago, and I was looking around at all the nice equipment. I was like, man, it's really nice that this equipment doesn't expire.
Yeah. Literally though, like, you just got to maintain it. It's like, but you're right. I think about that. So I go down rabbit holes where I'm like, how long do bananas last for you guys? 3 days, right? Like a week, maybe. And it's just like, we could go to insert random, name of, we go to Clinton, Oklahoma, and we could walk into one grocery store and they probably have 500 pounds of bananas. How did they even get them there in time for them to not have expired, to not have gone bad? Like it's not like we're growing them in Weatherford, they're growing all way far away. And that just starts getting my brain messed up.
The logistics.
The logistics.
Yeah.
Of fresh produce and avocado. They pick them so early because they still arrive rock hard, right? I don't know. And then they're good for a day.
Yeah.
They're rock hard and then they're soft.
Yeah, they're just mush after that. But literally there's those things where there's just a giant logistical nightmare that has to be happening all the time. And again, you get how many avocados are in the Oklahoma City metro right now?
Oh my gosh.
But they accomplish it well.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder what it would actually taste like to get an avocado ripe off of the tree or whatever it grows on. I assume it's a tree.
Right.
I think so.
True?
Yeah. We'll go with it. Yeah. We'll fact check that. From the avocado bush.
Yeah. One day.
You're not digging them up out of the ground? Or?
Yeah, I don't think so. But
legumes?
But yeah, I mean, it's just such an interesting thing that, again, all these kind of logistical things have to happen. All the different
types of businesses, yeah.
But that is a hard thing, like you said, again, I know how long it takes for me to go through a certain set of spices or whatever. Again, I'm not using I feel like the Cajun one's a good one for me because it's a good kind of base for whatever I'm eating. It kind of goes on anything.
Right.
And then I can kind of, go a different direction that I want to, no matter what with that. But yeah, how often are people using a Moroccan spice all the time? It's not something that, probably takes 6 months to go through. Yeah,
absolutely. So yeah, it's kind of one of those downsides for me, but at the same time, we have a nice array of different ones too. So I like the people that come back and they're like, I do want one of every one, but I'm just going to go a little bit at a time. Today I'm going to get this one, then I'm going to try that one. I appreciate those people a lot because one of my big goals whenever I started the spice company, as far as what I wanted to bring to the market, the spice market that didn't exist. I have my more familiar ones, like my Cajun, like my Mexican. Oki rub is kind of a barbecue, very standard. Things that people wouldn't know how to use without having a recipe, right? But then, I wanted to encourage people to try new things. And people probably never would have thought to make Moroccan food had they not found the Moroccan and then discovered the recipes, right? So kind of the whole part of my purpose was to, expand people's palates and maybe get people interested or maybe excited to try something new and go home and cook a homemade meal, try some Thai food for the first time or Indian food or whatever it is. So yeah, I've heard that a lot too.
I remember when we first brought in the spices to Triads, it was, I remember learning the big thing here is there's no salt, no sugar. And I remember going home and looking at all our spices that we had already. And it was I think there's salt in literally all of them. Like, this is crazy. I didn't realize that until I saw yours.
Yeah. And so I want to make something very clear. I am not anti-salt. I actually have my own salt blend too, which a lot of people really love. But again, as a consumer, going to look at the spices, first of all, I was just very like underwhelmed in a lot of ways. Number two, I was just kind of like, some of these are so expensive, but like they're primarily salt, right? So why am I paying so much for salt, like, and flavored salt or whatever you want to call it? And I kind of started way back in the day. Like, I've always made my own Mexican spice. I've always made my own Cajun spice. And from there, I would just like take a whiskey glass out of my kitchen and just like be making all my own spice mixes. How the spices came to be was like, I was actually meal prepping for people. Just after I got my RD, I actually went to a job, hated it, started meal prepping on the side, built that up so that I could quit my job. And that's really when I started experimenting with those spices. And obviously I was getting really great feedback from people loving my flavors. And I'm like, these are so easy, number one. And like you don't need anything. It's not like spices expire on. So why is there so much stuff in all these spice blends? And then you have to use so much of it. Have you ever noticed, like, if you get even a Siete like packet or just any of those, when you dump it, it's like so much spice, and it's a lot of like cornstarch and different things like that. And like, I'm a big fan of, balance is everything. I'm not like a big ingredient stickler personally in my life, but I do think that there's a place for having just like a true spice blend without any of that extra stuff in it.
You're speaking our language right now. We have come across so many products that we like ended up just making ourselves because we'd look at it and we'd be like, why is this even in here? Like, I don't even understand.
Pointless.
Yeah. Why are we like, that was a big one for us with like, especially like Hydrate is a good example where we just kind of like looked at some of the other hydration products on the market and things that we had. And there's a lot of great ones, don't get me wrong, but there were some where we're just like, this doesn't taste like the product, like it doesn't taste good. And then it's like, why doesn't it taste good? It's just like electrolytes. Like, this should be very easy to flavor. Like, and a lot of people really actually like a saltiness to it. And so it's like, this shouldn't be like, there should be a spectrum of how this should taste. And why are some of these like really not good? And then we start breaking down the ingredients and we're like, oh, well, that's why. There's like a bunch of random crap in here that like maybe was cool to somebody that like very specifically, but we also kind of, and I think where potentially you're getting at too with some of your spices is it's like, well, if you want some of that, you can always add. I can always throw salt on this as well. Like, I'm already going to be doing that. Like,
yes. And I did get some people, they like, poke that joke at me. They're like, oh, well, like, where's the flavor if there's no salt in it? And I'm like, you can always add the salt. You can't take it out. Like, that's just
it probably helps that you, again, make your own salt, that you can be like, you can,
I'm like, I'm not anti-salt. I've got this salt that literally pairs with everything. And then you can, I'm not. But it's been really cool too, because as a dietitian, while I'm a very healthy person, like I can eat sugar and this and that and be good because I can be active, whatever. But like, there's a ton of people out there that have hypertension, that have like kidney issues is a big one, because a lot of like no salt things have a potassium substitute to make it taste salty. So like a Mrs. Dash, it's got, I don't remember the exact, but it's a potassium. And for people with like kidney failure, any kind of kidney disease, they can't have sodium or potassium because of the dialysis and the way that it builds up. And so these specific, I mean, I know it's a very small subgroup of people, but they literally couldn't have like any kind of seasoning because they couldn't have the salt or the no salt stuff, because they made the no salt stuff for the people with hypertension. And so it's like, anyway, what I like about my product is that it does not matter what kind, if you've got any kind of ailment, like unless you've got a specific allergy to something, you can have my spices. And a lot of people love it for their kids because, little ones, they can't have as much salt. And and it's been, and you don't have to use as much of it either because it's very concentrated. You don't have to like dump a whole bunch. So it's been cool to watch people of all walks of life come to, because I've had people with kidney failure approach me and tell me, this is the only seasoning I can have. like period, end of story.
That's awesome though.
And so it's just little things like that I'm like, I feel like I found my little corner of the spice market that is unique in its own way, but also offers something for so many different types of people that other companies I just think don't personally. But.
Yeah.
I think that corner is growing too, because we see that in supplements of people that are wanting a more simplified ingredients list and something that's like, okay, I know what all these are. It's, it's a list of, 5 or 10 or whatever things. And it's like, it's okay. I know what I'm getting. It's not this enormous list of things that I don't even know how to pronounce.
Yeah.
So, no, I think that area where, it is a corner right now, I think that is growing. There are more and more people that are wanting that type of product. So,
well, that's like even like our EAAs was like one of our motivators on making our essential amino acid product that we recently have come out with was like, we felt like a lot of them are, and there's obviously a reason why it's like this. People like it too, but was like, it's EAAs and hydration, or EAAs and this, EAAs and that. And it's just like, okay, that's cool. And I understand it. But now it's like, well, now that EAA's product, like because of the extra things you're adding to it, now is $50. And it's just like, well, that's cool. Well, now it's just like, depending upon why someone's using the EAAs, well, it's like, well, there's also like protein powder that you can get that same price range. And so it's like, why are we now like if this is designed to be more, I don't want to say specialized, but used in like more specific situations, it's like, why would we not just have it be just EAAs? Because that's really what the people are looking for. Everything else is kind of like, oh yeah, that's fine. But I'm not like, I don't know. And there's, I'm sure people that exist, but I didn't know anybody taking it or buying an EAA's product when I was, like taking a customer that was ever buying it because of the hydration aspect that added to it. It's just like, oh, they're like, oh, that's cool. And it's like, well, yeah, but I added $10 onto this price tag. Like, what if we had one that didn't have that and it was $10? What, those kind of things. Just like, why not just have it be what it is? There's so many products and so many things. I feel like the more and more people get into this, and this might be a little bit biased towards like how I do it and how I know a lot of us do it, but it is that like, I'm buying the spices because I want the spices. If I want to put salt in it, I'll just put salt in it. I have 9 different kinds of salt in my cabinet
I'm
right
like,
now.
Everybody's got salt at home. You don't even have to buy my salt. You got salt at home. You can just add it.
Right. Stop at a restaurant on the way home and get a salt packet if you need to. They're free. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's cool though. I mean, it's really cool to hear that. But again, it's one of those where when you create something like that, it is now, like you said, minus it being, somebody with a specific allergy, it is for everybody. Anybody can use this now. And that's a really cool aspect of this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been really fun. I can't believe I've been in business already for 5 years. And what's so funny to me too is that I'm like in a lot of ways a solo entrepreneur. Like I do have my Spice Girls. That's their official name. Yep. Like whenever they are like, what should I put on my resume? I'm like, put Spice Girl. And they do. And then I'm like, you can put me down as a reference, whatever. But yeah, they run my farmers markets and events for me. They're 1099, but they're amazing. And they help a lot with the events. So that's like my very little team, but I've got like 3. So it's like very small. Everything else, like all the food blog stuff has been me, and like wholesale wise, that's all been me. So it's been an interesting journey, but yeah, I've been big on like not trying to get any like business loans. I don't know why that's been my thing, but I've literally built this from like my own $2,000 out of my savings into what it is today. And
that's amazing.
Yeah. So I think I was just always very risk averse. Like, I think if you would have asked anyone that knew me growing up if I would ever be an entrepreneur one day, I'm pretty sure every single person, including me, would say no. Yeah. There's no way. And so it is a little bit wild to be sitting here being like, yeah, I have a successful business that supports me. It supported me like prior to getting married. And now I'm a stay-at-home working mom, and I have that income, which is always, whenever I decided I was going to go into business for myself, one of my big goals was I don't want to work hard just to work hard. Like I want to make sure I've still got retirement. I want to make sure that I've still got, but like I wanted to be a mom, and I'm like, I want to have an income too. I don't want to just I want to make it flexible to me. And it's been pretty cool to go, like, it's been a winding journey, as I'm sure every entrepreneur's journey has been, as you learn more and pivot and get new opportunities. But like, getting to this point now, I've got, wholesale accounts. I actually got, with Home Goods nationwide.
I was going to say, I've been seeing you working with some pretty big box stores. So.
Yeah. So that was really, they actually found me, which was pretty cool.
Whoa.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah, I was pretty excited about that. So I'm in mostly local grocery stores in Oklahoma, Reese's, Pruett's. Uptown Grocery is now owned by Reese's. So I've been there for a while. And then a lot of smaller, more specific stores too. But yeah, Home Goods was my big account. And I think I've had it's probably been like 7 orders now, but it's only been like a little over a year that I've been working with them.
Wow.
And that's like over 900 stores nationwide.
Right.
So
That's crazy.
It was definitely a big
It's a lot of
learning curve.
jars.
It was a lot of jars. And again, doing it all without a business loan was quite very interesting. I was basically just entirely broke until I got paid back for that, for that order.
That's how it goes.
So yeah, we just
ever been
finished.
broke before?
Yeah.
A handful of times.
Maybe a few times. Yeah. That's really the only time I get like broke. But at the same time, I'm like, the money's coming back. It just takes a little while. Just coming down the pipeline.
That's awesome, though.
I was going to say especially getting doing some big wholesale orders and dealing with the inventory on that without a business loan is difficult.
Yeah.
We do have business loans and we still struggle with inventory and wholesale and keeping up with that. Cause it's always the, okay, it's cool. We've got, all these accounts and, these orders coming in and it's like, great, it's cash flow is coming in. And then it's like, boom, we need to reorder protein in 2 flavors. So that's going to be $40,000. So it's like, okay, this is where it comes. This is where it's tough. And then it's having to increase your inventory and, you get a little bit more skittish on releasing a new product too. Cause it's like, okay, it's only, X amount to, do 3 flavors in this new product. But, as soon as, we launch it, it takes off and now we've got to double or triple the amount that we're ordering. It's like, okay, that's a lot more cash flow.
Yeah. And I'm sure the spice game is probably similar to supplements in the sense of this is something that we battle with all the time with our own brand and just like other brands that we carry in store as well. And it's just kind of in the nature of the beast. But it's like, I always kind of equate it like if you really like a protein and you come into our store twice to pick it up and we don't have it either time, you're getting a new protein and you're probably never coming back.
Right.
It's like you were taking X, Y, and Z protein and they still shop with us luckily, but they go from this brand to that brand and whether it's they just find something else they like and they're like, okay, this is what I'm taking now.
Right.
Because people are creatures of habit, or they're like, I took that. It was good. I really liked that one, but it was always hard to find the one I wanted. And so then I had to wait. And it's just like, I'm just this one I've been able to get every time. And so I can imagine the spice game's probably kind of similar too, where it's just like, hey, these are the spices I always get, but I've gone to the grocery store, whatever, 2 times last month and this month, and they didn't have it either time. So I had to get something else and I liked it. So I guess I'm just using that now.
Exactly. Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. So that is, part of it. You just got to stay on top of it. But I think farmers markets for me have been my biggest local marketing to build up. Yeah.
You guys are hitting farmers markets hard because I've seen you there too. So
that's been where I really built to any interest because I think also the way that I just decided to design my spice, I wanted it to be an affordable, high-end looking product. And I don't know, something about the spice aisle when you go there and it's got these flashy things on it. They always look so cheesy to me. And I was like, I want something that's gonna just look fancier and something that you might want to leave out on your counter and it won't be an eyesore.
Right.
And but with that, it's not super obvious that it's salt and sugar free because I don't have any of those weird, non-GMO, flashy things on it, which was kind of just a choice for me. Yeah. And, but for us, that's been a huge part of the education, especially locally, is our farmers markets and being able to like you guys do when you go to all of your, being in person and being able to explain products, it has been, and then the word of mouth from there is huge.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, and I feel like, especially, for us, that's been, word of mouth is like what we live on.
But you have to get that going in the first place. Because like if you have no customers, no word of mouth at all in the first place.
Good.
It's and still to this day, it's all employees have always hit at least one sample event every week. And still to this day, everybody does, because that's how we throw fuel on the fire and build those customers that are that word of mouth in the first place. So.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure for you as well, especially things like the farmers market and stuff. And I feel like on a lot of and for us with sample events is it just like also gives people the opportunity to just try something, you know, without having to like invest into a whole thing of it. And you're just like, and it's not like, stuff is expensive all the time. Supplements can get expensive for sure, where it's, you're looking at a $60 tub of protein or whatever. And it's like, hey, I'm gonna let you try a scoop of it first. But, I think with anything though, even if the spices are $15, like whatever it is, it's still one of those like, I'd like to try it. I'd like to have at least an opportunity to kind of see what it's about. And I think that those are really cool opportunities. And I think an underutilized thing for a lot of industries that I think could possibly benefit from stuff like that is just just giving people like to try stuff. People like to like look at it, put their hands on it. And that's why, I think that that's such a cool thing, because I feel like it's very easy to get caught into just like D2C online sales, just nothing but that. And obviously that plays its role. And don't get me wrong, I would love our D2C defined sales to quadruple. But it's one of those where that hands-on, like being able to look at it, compare them, smell that, whatever that is, like, I feel like is such a powerful thing for people like in confidence of buying things. For sure.
Yeah. And Home Goods has actually really been game changing for me for my online sales, because I'm getting now orders like for a long time, a lot of my direct to consumer like online orders were local, and then
we know how that goes.
I would kind of get like an occasional, like somebody, like a family member told their friend in like Vermont, whatever, and I get something. But now I'm getting lots of different stuff. I think partially it's two things, like obviously my traffic and just maybe someone trying a recipe, because a lot of times too, because I'm very aware that I've got people coming just discovering me from a recipe on Google. I also give them like a spice option, like a swap in my recipes.
Oh, that's cool.
So it'll be like, oh, use like, I recommend whatever, the Spice Girl Kitchen Cajun seasoning, of course. But you could see the notes for like, if you don't, or just whatever. So you can give them a few options of like, you can just mix like equal parts this, and that to give like a similar effect. It's obviously not my recipe, but it's like something to be like, you could still make this recipe and not have my spice, right?
And still make a good recipe.
Right, exactly. And then maybe, again, kind of builds a little bit of trust, and they're like, oh, but this looks interesting, and then they go buy it.
Be easier just to use your spice.
Right, exactly. Like, oh, some people are like very like, I need to get this brand of whatever. Right. But yeah, I think part of it has just been people discovering me just on Google. And then the other part of it has been Home Goods and people finding me on the shelf, trying that spice. Right. And then word of mouth gets spread everywhere. Yeah. So getting a lot more orders from all over, which has been kind of cool. I'm like, man, this is so random.
Yeah, like okay. All right.
I don't know anybody in this area.
Yeah. All right, lady in Oregon, here's your Okie rub.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm always curious. Like, I wonder where they find me from, but it's got to be one of those two places.
That is, we are kind of just starting to experience that ourselves with Defined Nutrition, which has always honestly just existed in our stores, and we're now finally really gaining some traction with one. We've got a number of wholesale accounts, nothing as big as Home Goods, that's for sure, but it's. We've also got an ambassador program, and have started to work with a lot of people outside of the state, and are building a lot of attention that way. So we're getting like, we're used to get like the random, kind of the same deal, a random order, and out in Colorado, and you're like, man, I wonder who this person is, because like, how do they find out about us?
Right.
But now it's like, that's like an everyday thing. Is like, there's a handful of orders, and a lot of them are going out of state. And it's like, we don't really know how these people found out about us. Like, we do our best to track our ROI on everything, but like at the end of the day, like, you just don't really know. So, but yeah, we are just starting to get into that ourselves, and it's super cool. Thomas wrote his first Defined Nutrition thank you card the other day.
I did.
Yeah. So packed his first orders.
I love that.
Pack some orders the other day. Yeah. Woohoo! Yeah. Good times.
Always a good time. Yeah, those are nap time activities for me, or after bed activities.
Yeah.
Like, look up the orders.
Yeah. Are you doing a lot of late night working?
I'm doing a lot of early morning working because I turn into a pumpkin about 8 p.m. Yeah. Literally, I just don't function. My brain powers off for the most part. Occasionally, I can power through it, but I would much rather get up at 4 a.m. and like power some workout before people wake up.
Early morning person.
Well, normally I'm like a 5 a.m.er, but if I have to, if I know I got something to do, because a lot of times I go to bed at like 8 p.m.
Yeah.
So I can get up at 4 and be okay, you know?
Yeah. See, Kevin's secret is he's always a pumpkin.
I've just learned to function as a pumpkin. Others adapted.
I was born a pumpkin.
There's no way you were always a pumpkin.
Yeah, no, he's always been a pumpkin. Don't worry about that. So I imagine you started just like hand mixing these spices.
I did, yes.
And then now do you have, like does a manufacturer do that now, I imagine, with 900, stores nationwide? You're not per jar making them yourself anymore?
No. So yeah, first year, hand bottled them, printed all the labels, the whole nine. I had a little heat gun, shrink wrap everything. Yeah. So that was a lot of late nights because I was just sitting there putting movies on, just like shrink wrapped and spices. Everything was black and white. Everything, ordered my jars off of Amazon, went to Winco to get my spices. That was just how it went. Yeah. At first. Right. And basically I came up with the idea, came up with the spice line, booked my first farmer's market, sold over 100 jars in that farmer's market. And I was I've got something here.
Yeah.
And I was super lucky because the very first farmer's market I ever did, I got put next to this guy who sells spice pretzels. And he's been in the game, I don't know how long, but a while. And he saw me and I was like all excited about my sales that were going on. He was like, looked at me and he was like, you need to get a manufacturer. And I was like, that sounds like I can't afford it. I think you're crazy, sir. And he was like, no, really, here's my guy. He does my spiced pretzels. So he's got spices. He does his own spices. So I know he can do it. Check it out, whatever. Guy's in Lawton, so stays local to Oklahoma.
Yes.
And I went and checked it out. And basically, it took a while to go through sampling, get, labels established, all that stuff. So that first year I hand bottled until I could finalize the product. And then by the next farmer's market season, I was manufactured. And then I was tweaking from there, of course. Sure. But
what are you talking about? That didn't just take a week?
Yeah. I was like, fine.
Sourcing.
The spices were good, but the labels and the jars always needed some tweaking. Several rounds of that. But that was that second year was when, because basically the first year I always had side hustles. I was still nutrition coaching online. I was still cooking for people. And then I would do a Saturday farmer's market. And that was the only way I was selling my spices for the first year. And then second year, basically when you get a manufacturer is when I was eligible to actually get into stores.
Right.
Because a grocery is not going to take a home bottled product. It's just... Yeah. So then I was, going after the wholesale game. It's kind of interesting when I look back because I've, kind of been doing this 5 years now. Every year I've had a specific focus. And I feel like it's actually switched to this year. Obviously I'm still keeping my wholesale leg and all of my things that I've established, but I'm more focused this year on the blog because I think there's a lot of new and unlimited potential with that. I actually got super lucky too. Met a woman randomly through random channels who is a local food blogger, and she has always wanted to mentor someone. And I won't mention who it is or what the website is because I'm going to say some numbers that will blow your mind. So I met with her for coffee one time and she was super excited. I was basically making nothing. I had just gotten into this beta program. So I went from my first year of, and I say my first year, I didn't really put that much effort into it. But with Google AdSense, it literally took me a whole year to get $100. Whole year to get $100. So nothing, right?
Yeah, sure.
Not that I was really working that hard on it, but I was putting some recipes out there and I knew it was possible, but I didn't know how to get there. And I had just gotten into this beta program and started making more $3-4 a day. So I was like, man, I'm actually not making pennies anymore.
Right.
Nice.
At first. And then, I met this woman and she was super excited about where I was. And she was like, you really need to focus on this. Anyway, she was transparent about numbers with me. And she was like, I made $200,000 just last month in ad revenue on my food blog. Yeah.
Kevin, I quit.
Yeah. She makes
Started a food blog.
I quit too.
like over $6 million a year just in ad revenue. And then obviously she's got like a little PDF thing, because you go on a food blog and they're like, oh, buy this like $10, 50 crockpot recipes. And it's a PDF document, no shipping, no inventory costs. They make it once, they sell it over and over again. She's like, oh, I'll make $12,000, $13,000 on a $10 PDF download. So I'm like, dude, this is like, and obviously I don't ever really expect to be making $200,000 a month, but it's super feasible to be making 10.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Like, I'm
in.
make $10,000 a month on a food blog. I could be in an RV traveling, doing videos out of my RV kitchen.
Literally.
Yeah.
I could
That could be your thing.
I could be in an Airbnb in Thailand and be doing this, So I was like, it's so mobile. It's low overhead. There's no inventory. So I'm never going to drop the spices by any means.
Sure.
Like we're doing well with that. But I was like, just the potential, hearing those numbers.
$200,000 a month.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw up. That's crazy.
She showed it to me in like the analytics and I was just like, so I'm lucky to have her as my mentor now.
Sure.
I've been
She
texting.
taking anybody else on?
Nope. Just me. She's all mine. I've been texting her like.
Do you want to be my mentor?
Texting her all my like wins. Like the first time I made $100 in a day, I was like, I made $100 in a day. So
That's awesome.
it's been really
incredible.
exciting. Yeah.
It is one of those things you just start to realize like those things become, they can get like ad revenue and all that kind of stuff is just crazy.
It is.
Having a business, especially with like the PDF document that she sells is like with like just having a business with no cost of goods sold is just like,
yeah.
And also doesn't expire.
Yeah. And you can sell the same thing over and over again. It's just like wild.
That happened. I'm deep in woodworking YouTube right now. Don't ask questions.
I love it, dude. I get it.
Dude, literally, it's like my main motivation for buying a house this year is like a garage that I can get back to doing woodworking.
Oh, you sound like my husband.
Yeah.
He's but not really woodworking. He watches these like engineering. Things just spin.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And grind. Yeah. And I'm like,
oh yeah.
What is this noise?
For Christmas, I asked for an angle grinder.
Oh no.
I live in an apartment.
No.
Let's be honest here. Like I live in an apartment.
Did you get it though?
I did. Yeah.
Oh wow. Your wife's a saint.
Yeah. Shout out to in-laws actually.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, and a router again. Live in an apartment, not using a wood router for anything currently. But the same kind of thing happens where those guys on YouTube who have like a decent following, they sell just like, hey, here's, 10 basic wood projects with all the renderings, all the measurements, like the amount of wood, all the stuff that you need. And you start to think about it. You're like, oh yeah, that is just a PDF document. That's literally like people sell plans for like, hey, I made this chair. It's a cool chair. Here's the plans for it. The plans for this are $150 and it's just value, a PDF. Yeah.
Because you're saving people time and frustration.
A ton of time and frustration.
Yeah.
And it's just, step-by-step thing. There's a guy who and he does same kind of thing. He's just made a video and it's like the video for like making like epoxy tables and stuff. He's like, oh yeah, he sells $40,000 epoxy tables like all over the country and stuff. But he but it's just like, the epoxy workshop is $200. And just like, he did this one time and then just
But that's how you diversify. That's big that's been always like my thing too, is that like we were talking about, cost of goods, I could be completely broke so it's like, I kind of just got to deal with whatever inventory I got at the moment, unless I want to go get a business loan. So what can I do that's not like working for somebody else or doing online nutrition coaching that can still, I'm big into passive income too. Whenever I decided to work for myself, I was terrified. I was like, I don't know, like still the first like 2-3 years, I was like, I don't know if I'm actually gonna like keep doing this or not. Yeah. So I always had like my foot in something else because I was always a very nervous, again, very risk averse, never really born to be an entrepreneur. But one of my first things, I was like, if I'm going to work for myself, I need a Roth IRA. I need to figure out how I can diversify income streams. I actually invested in 2 rental properties.
Nice.
But then so again, I had kind of a focus every year. And one year I was like headstrong on buying rental properties. And so I was just doing whatever I had to do to make enough money to save enough to buy rental properties. And I wasn't necessarily focused on growth of the company per se. I was just kind of like, whatever I got to do to make enough money to do this so that I can like accomplish this goal. And I did it. So then I was like, what can I do next? But now that I've got a daughter and I don't have as much time and whatever, I can't be working random side hustles and running a business and run our household and cook dinner every night and take care of a baby and myself and whatever. So I was like, I really got to go all in. Like I truly didn't go all in into my business until like last year, whenever I was like, it's kind of do or die at this point. Like I can't just be kidding myself. Like it's great. I've got these rental properties now that helps. Like I've got, like Roth IRA set up. So like I know my future's set, but like I need to make sure that I can still bring in like a steady income. Right. And I was dabbling into the food blog stuff and I was like, this is like, perfect. This is passive income. This is like an evergreen. I make this recipe once, it's an asset. Like I made one recipe like 2 months ago. Last month, that recipe made me $1,500 just in ad revenue. Yes. I was like, this is crazy. What can happen off of like, some of my recipes make me $10. Some of them make me $50. And then like, there's one that'll just be like $1,500 off, so.
That's amazing though.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm going to learn how to get paid to cook dinner for my family.
Exactly. I'm like, I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom and cook dinner and make money off of it.
Let's go. That's amazing.
Yeah. So, and then eventually I will have the PDF documents as well on my website.
Right. Yeah, for real though.
Here's your 50 crockpot recipes or whatever works.
Right.
Yeah.
My goodness.
I bet is it because I saw on your website at least a little bit, but the being a registered dietitian, I'm sure helps set you apart from everybody else that's trying to make recipes online as well. Yeah.
So I kind of struggle with that a little bit, to be quite frank, because I think like, and this is a topic I could talk about for an hour, but whenever you're a dietitian, it's almost like people want to put you in this box of like, what diet, like, do you back, right? And I do think it's changed a little bit in the dietitian specific space, where there's a lot of dietitians that are more like body positive and whatever. I'm huge on relationship with food. Sure. And so I've kind of struggled at times with my messaging a little bit, because whenever you're like, I'm a salt-free, sugar-free product, like I don't have any fillers or dyes, then people almost are like, well, then you got to be like crunchy, organic, everything made from scratch, like. And I didn't want to necessarily, with the food blog, I was like, but that's just not me. Like I am just like the true definition of healthy balance. Like I do love to make things from scratch, but I'm not going to fret if I like have to do, like more semi-homemade recipes where you're kind of using like a homemade marinara sauce. Like I don't have to make the marinara from scratch. Like, and I think that there's just a lot of, as a dietitian, like, how do I get that messaging out there that's like, you have to be practical, you got to feed your family.
And be a human.
You got to be a human. Like I'm going to maybe put like the occasional cream of chicken soup in my crock pot recipe because that's just quick and easy and real, because I have 5 minutes to throw together a dinner.
Yeah.
And so I've tried to figure out how can I like, and I've like rewritten my About Me page so many different times over the years, because I'm like, how do I get this across where it's like, yes, I'm a dietitian, but like I also am going to be the first person to go eat the chocolate cupcakes.
I talk about this in store all the time, because again, I think people come in and they talk to our employees and, and they'll be like, yeah, well, I'm sure, but you never. And I'm like, oh, honey.
I promise
sweet.
you, I eat more chocolate than everybody in this room.
Summer child. I'm like, yesterday I was getting groceries and I was like, Oreos, $2.99. Let me get 2 packs of those.
Yes.
I'm still a human being. Like,
yes.
we still have to have, like, it's about, like you said, it's about balance and like being able to, like, I want to be healthy, but I want to enjoy my life also.
Exactly. Yeah. So I've been trying really hard because I've like even toyed with like, do I even just take that down in a way? Like, because like, I'm super proud of that accomplishment. It's not something that a lot of people do, right? And I love calling myself a registered dietitian, but then I sometimes hate the like follow-up questions that are like, what do you think about this and that? I'm like, literally nothing's off limits. Like it's all within reason. It's all within balance. And so I've had to, but what I've decided ultimately is it does show authority. Like it shows that I'm a food professional. I know what I'm talking about. So I obviously have to keep it in there. I just need to make sure that, you know, because I've got all these random pieces of my background. Like I technically have like private chef experience and like, because I've cooked in people's homes before. I've meal prepped for people. I've done these things, but a lot of it was just part of my working for myself journey. Like, hey, I can take this on. I can take that on. I actually last November, it just came out like I think in July or something. I was on Food Network.
What?
Yeah. It was kind of cool. I competed in a cooking competition. I didn't win, but I got to meet Reese Witherspoon though.
What? That's
cool. Yeah. So that was really fun.
Okay. What was the name of the show?
It was called Family. Oh God. Family. They changed the name of the show. I got there and they were like, we're going to call this like something. And then literally they came out with it and it was called something completely different. So it was a brand new show. Yeah. So that's why it was the first season. God, Family Recipe Showdown. That was what it was called. Yes. So yeah, Reese Witherspoon was our guest. Octavia Spencer was the main host. Okay. And then Dookie Chase, who's a famous New Orleans chef. It actually was filmed in New Orleans, which is where I'm from. Sure. So it was a one-day event. I was actually pregnant when I filmed it. And me and my aunt were a pair and we competed and it was super fun.
That's super cool.
That's
awesome. You can watch it on Hulu.
Yeah. All right. Let's go. Yeah.
Okay.
You'll go watch it tonight.
Yeah.
Or sometime this week.
It is 5:30.
Yep.
Isn't it crazy how fast time goes by? I know, right? It's fun.
It is fun.
I know, right?
I could talk all day.
Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for coming on here. This has been super interesting and just hearing all the different, phases that like your company and the things that you're doing have gone through. But it's also, I feel like super inspiring to hear, just the level of drive and the things that, having these yearly focuses like you've talked about and how it sounds like those things are really kind of coming to fruition for you is super, super cool. And I know like we've been really big fans of the spices just in general, but it's super exciting to hear how much that's just kind of expanded into new opportunities and things for you, especially the food blog. That's incredible. And so just appreciate like, first off, like the products that you've made and kind of your attention to detail with them. And but on top of that, just kind of showing what you can do with something like this and how just that kind of time and dedication and finding and that kind of never die attitude I think is something that we really relate to a lot. And so it's been an interesting journey, but I also just kind of want to say that like I have customized this business based on like I didn't want to do this just to be like a success. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't just like, let me just blow this up. If I would have wanted to blow my spice company up just for the sake of looking big and bad, I would have gone and taken out all the business loans and done some big, like crazy things. But then I probably would have been stressed and in over my head, to be quite frank, for like my personality. And so, yeah, it's been fun to find a way to customize this for how I want to live my life, not just like how to make money, but how I want to live my lifestyle. Because like I have dreams and aspirations of retiring my husband in the sense of like work is optional for him. I know he's always going to want to work, but that's always been a big goal of mine. But like to do that as a stay-at-home mom would be like a huge accomplishment. It'd just be like the biggest like badass move, So,
and, you know, also to be mobile, like, hey, can we just literally take off for the whole summer, but yet I can still do this and that. And, so yeah, it's been cool to be able to have the opportunity to customize my work around my lifestyle and to have a baby and to be able to pull back where I needed to pull back and like, then be able to have the option to ramp it back up. It's all been part of the journey.
Yeah,
so
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's I'm jealous of the being able to customize a little bit. We can do a little bit of that ourselves, but yeah, I think we are definitely in a boat of we created something that requires a lot sometimes.
Storefront is big. A lot of people are like, are you going to ever have a storefront? I'm like, no, absolutely not. Not even a question.
If you do, get yourself a Thomas. He's very helpful. So
I need one of those.
But different Thomas. But
you don't know any other Thomases. Get out of here.
No, it's been really cool to hear all the other things that you have going on and how they all coincide together. And obviously we know you for your spices, because that's, you know, from professionally, that's where we work with you is, you know, carrying the spices in the store and,
which I love. I brag about.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're at Triad.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that. But yeah, that's it's cool to hear how many different things you have, you know, your hands dipped into, and how it all makes sense. It doesn't necessarily, you know, maybe there's some, you know, trying different things, like the rental properties, but I think where you said, you know, you're very risk averse. I think the reason you've probably found yourself in this position, and this is just me guessing based off of, you know, getting to talk to you over the last hour, is that you sound like you're someone that when you decide to do something, you go all in and you do accomplish it. You don't stop until it's done.
Which is why I'm so excited about this food blog, because I'm like, I've cracked the code. I've figured it out. This is going to be the thing that's going to make it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because I think that anybody that is our age, Thomas and I are both in our 30s. I think anybody that is at least in their 30s now probably went through a phase of like, I'm getting into rental properties. Him and I know definitely did that. We don't own any rental properties because we didn't accomplish that goal, because it was very much just a random thing and we didn't do enough to be able to actually get anything done. But you have 2 rental properties. That's additional income for you. So that's where I would say is probably where you found yourself in this position is, you know, it doesn't sound like you're scared to try new things. And when you do, you don't stop until they're accomplished. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And honestly, the more that I've kind of diversified, the safer I felt. I think it was all about, like, for me, I was so scared because I had no money and I was like, if this fails, I'm screwed. Like, you know, I was in student loan debt, like all this stuff. And so it was just kind of like, how can I not just make money, but how can I actually create a safety net for myself without having an employer to do that for me? Like, if I'm going to do this, I have to create a safety net, because I know personally, just with my personality, I'm not going to be able to go month to month not knowing if I'm going to be able to pay my bills next month. You know, like, I've got to have the savings, I've got to have the diversity. And I know I've accomplished that. And that really helps to not be so scared to take another chance on something. Yeah.
You build confidence in yourself too.
That too. Yeah. I know I can depend on myself because you know, if I set my sight on something, I'm all in for that. So
what, just for our listeners, what's a good way to, like, how do they find your food blog? How do they find, you know, whatever social media? What's the best way to find your stuff?
Yeah. So, food blog and spice shop is thespicegirlkitchen.com. Pretty much everywhere else, it's just The Spice Girl Kitchen. Instagram, it's The Spice Girl Kitchen _
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, thanks again for coming on. This was a blast. This is the hour went by way too fast.
Yes.
We'll have to have you back on then.
Maybe when the kids are older.
Yeah. Or sooner than they'll be older no matter what. But seriously, this was super fun. So.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what episode this is?
84.
Ooh,
I think. So.
84.
Yeah.
Lucky number 84.
That's right. That's what they say. That's what they say. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.